Hey you, I'm the Queen of Shade. Welcome to the interview. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, oh, and hit my Cash App to support your favorite content creator. Now let's get to the interview. Mwah.
Let me tell you something. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too.
Salutations to foes. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming to you with another special presentation. Moving full speed ahead, getting to know amazing people, people I already know, people you need to know. Having said that, I have someone that you need to meet. This young man and I have had conversations before on Instagram in our Instagram live. So this is I'm no stranger to this person and they're no stranger to me. But today we're going to have a conversation for all of you guys to benefit and enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to a man who is on social media, but very elusive. So we're going to dig. We're going to find out about him. We're going to find out what he does. Because when I went to the bio, it just said personal blog. And there's always a story there when it says just personal blog. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Jason Harvey. Hey.
How are you? You look
I'm
beautiful.
good.
Thank you so much for having me on your platform. I've watched a lot of your interviews with other social media people, and it's really been great watching those interviews, and you know how to dig deep and get us to know a lot of people. And it was nice to see other people, their interviews, and you think you know people and you have them figured out, and when you get to know more about them, you're like, wow, people have so much substance to them, more than what you see in a photo or Instagram video.
Well, that's why I started doing this because, in my career, I've always had to take the high road. The industry didn't want my story to be told. They wanted me to be what they wanted me to be. And they wanted to give me a narrative. And instead of them giving me a narrative, I'm like, are you kidding? The life that I've lived, I have a narrative.
Correct.
So I decided to tell my story my own way. And all of this happened, and I'm sitting here with you.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that. And you were definitely somebody who has been an inspiration for me, knowing a lot about, your story, and you always come on with such, positivity and energy. So when you asked me to come on for you, I was like, I don't care what I had to do to make it happen. I was like, it's going to happen.
Well, I hope you didn't have to sell a child and,
I didn't. Thank God. I probably would have sold the child if I had to.
My God, don't say that. Because you are a daddy. I was on your page and I saw you with your little boy, and he had a basketball in his hand. So you are a daddy. So we know that. That's the first thing we know about you.
And that's
Well, the second thing.
Yeah,
What you say,
that's
baby?
the thing because I have been openly, I hate to say the word coming out. I really hate a lot of the terms and cliches, and I feel like in our community we have a lot of pronouns and terms, and I feel like for a community and a culture of our own, who we all look for so much equality and just to be equal to everybody, we create so many categories and boxes for ourselves. And I know me coming into this from living a heterosexual life and being married to my son's mom for almost 11 years, and now being on this side of the fence for the past 7 years, I really was turned off by all the titles. And so when people used to ask me, like, well, what are you? And I would say other. That box you check other on your application, that you don't want to say if you Hispanic, Black, African American. I was like, just other. Like, whatever I choose to be is what I choose to be. Whoever I choose to love is who I choose to love. And I used to say, I'm just other. You know what I mean? Because I just hated to be boxed in. So for the last couple of years, my son did not know. And I
Oh,
really could not share it with him for a lot of different reasons.
okay.
And I can't get into why I really couldn't tell him. A lot of people felt like you're going to have to let him wait. not right now. Like, he's too
Well, he's
fragile.
young. He's
Yeah.
young.
And everybody was like, he's too fragile. He's too young for this information. And, I didn't feel like he was fragile because I feel like, I raised a son along with his mom to really, understand different walks of life. And we didn't have a lot of people in, our families who were of an alternative lifestyle. And so it wasn't nothing that he was really accustomed to. So it would have been something a little bit out of the box, you know what I'm saying, for him. And so, I really decided like this year, that I would have a conversation with him because next year he'll be in high school. And I knew that he was going to interact with a lot of people who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, and see a lot of different things. And I felt like, aside from my lifestyle, he needs to understand that people in the world are going to be different. And I want to make sure that I am raising a young man, a Black man at that, to have respect and make sure that he's not a kid who's bullying or antagonizing anybody who's different than who he is.
Well,
And so, yeah.
Get this. I understand your story and I understand why it has a heterosexual lens. But let me just go back and say, all of those pronouns are needed. All of those pronouns, everyone should learn them. Yes, there are a lot. Yes, there will always be a lot. But my thing is, even among Black people, we do not all look the same.
Correct.
We are not all the same.
Right.
And my thing is, I understand, and I want people to understand because, a lot, especially Gen Z, a lot of people have been getting upset with the fact that, the heterosexual community is just trying to put a blanket statement over all of our pronouns. Oh, well, I can't get with that, or I don't understand that. And it's not that they don't understand it, it's that they don't want to.
Correct.
You see, so I'm not correcting you, but I want people that watch me to understand that as their queen, I understand their pronouns. I understand why they have them. I have friends, like, look at this, Jason, I have friends that are intersexed and somehow that got put into the rainbow category. Right. And them being intersex, they're like, I'm not a part of as my boyfriend says, the alphabet mafia. I'm intersex. This is, he says the alphabet mafia. This is something I was born into. My body has both parts. And because I have both parts, now I have to identify as a part of the LGBTQIAP+ community. So I have friends that are upset about that, but they find themselves, because and the thing is, we're not having an argument here because it's true, but each and every one of us are other.
Yeah.
Look at this. I'm not trans.
Correct. Right. And I've learned that about you. And so that was like an eye opener for me. And I agree with you. You're right. Yes, we do need the pronouns. So I will stand corrected on that. We need the pronouns. I think that when it comes to pronouns, I think that where I find myself being frustrated, and even some of my close counterparts, we get frustrated because I think that when people see you, they have an idea of what they feel you are instead of asking how you want to be identified. So I think that's really the issue that I have, that people just want to automatically label you how they want to label you, and I feel like you don't get to do that. Like,
well, people want to take you at face value. They don't never want to do the research.
You couldn't have said it better.
But see, that's the problem. I got a lot of people that look at, this platform that I've built and all that I've done, and they're like, they ask me questions that I've already answered. And I'll say this, I instantly know when a person is for me and when they're just being nosy and they're not in my following or in the throes of what I'm doing. Because for most of the parts and most of my work, I'm very candid, very transparent, very authentic, very open. So that is actually a signal to me that this person does not follow me. This person isn't aware of who I am. Therefore, this person doesn't respect me, because my story is what makes you respect me, not my followers, not my blue check, not my crown, not my name. My story is what causes people to respect me, because they're like, wow, you've been through this, that, and the other. Now, it's funny. I have pronouns. I have one pronoun. Now, mind you, I was born male. I have a masculine spirit and a feminine spirit in one body. When that happens, it breeds someone like me. I am a shaman. I am a shaman. And that is someone whom guides, and an oracle and a prophet and a seer. So we're just going to get into that. It allows me to guide other people who may not be as open to themselves and to the universe and the divine as they would want to be. But my one pronoun is queen. Everyone calls me queen. I don't care if I'm standing in my backwards cap like you today, or if I am outside, or in my basketball shorts. I'm going on vacation with my boyfriend soon. I will not be dressing like this. And if people notice me, my pronoun is still queen. That's my pronoun.
And I love that.
And get it. The reason why I say that is because each one of these people, being on the heterosexual side, I can only imagine the backlash that I'm feeling it. See, I'm a shaman, so I don't want to go there just yet. We just started, but I'm feeling it. I can only imagine being ostracized the way that you might have been.
Yes.
And I'm just going to say, and having people that you've had your entire life no longer fuck with you.
Absolutely.
You see?
And the thing is, with that, I felt like, when the end of my past situation really had nothing to do with sexuality. Honestly, that really came at the latter end of the situation, right? But I felt like, we live in a world where society will side with the woman or the mom. They don't want to do the homework. It's like, we knew he did something. He was gay. He cheated. You caught something. And I feel like what I did was, honestly, I took the high road and I just took the hits. And I said, you know what? That's my son's mother. She's a woman. I'm gonna just let this rock. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we know the real situation when we know what happened. And I'm grateful because we're in a much better place now where her and I we can coexist. We could be in the same room. Like, we're good. And that took a really, really long time. But I think that people don't understand when you have a situation like me, where you kind of what I call like the crossover. I didn't just lose a family dynamic, and a friend. I lost a lot of mutual friends because people pick sides. As much as people say, like, we respect her, we respect you, people choose sides. And then it was difficult for me because coming on this side, like, I didn't have gay friends. So all of my gay friends, they came through way of, through work, or it came through, just like, casual conversation through people on social media. And then you see them in your neighborhood, or you see them at the bar, and then you guys just kind of like build from there. So for me, it was like starting a whole new life, literally like all over again. So it was.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
In your quest to find gay friends, did you find gay friends, or did you find masculine identifying men that had misogyny in them, but also identified as being gay? Oh, well, you can be gay over here as long as we don't see you with no sissies. You can be gay over here as long as you're not feminine. Don't wear a kilt. You can be, because see, this is the thing. See, I knew this was going to be a good conversation with you today. Not because the last time we had a conversation, we expressed these things. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I have to filter this for everyone.
Correct.
Everything that I'm doing, because this is the thing. Coming from such a stark heterosexual lifestyle, and we can get into that whether you want to or not, when you knew you were gay or anything like that. There was something else that stuck out to me. I don't see a problem with one embracing themselves.
Correct.
In a committed relationship with a woman.
Right.
My problem is this, and I'm not in your business, but if the man steps outside of that relationship with that woman to experiment, I have a problem.
Absolutely.
Because he should have told her. And he should not have done that for the sanctity of the commitment. Do you see?
100% I agree with you. 100% I agree with you. One of the things I stopped doing, and I want to say I probably stopped doing this maybe about 3 years ago, which is somewhat still fresh, I guess.
Yeah.
I stopped trying to prove a point as
Yes.
to what happened. Because what I realize about people, they like things that sound like gossip,
Yeah.
something that's juicy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I could have done for myself was just to be honest about my story, what I did, where I am. Because once you own who you are, you take the power from people.
Yeah.
You don't have nothing to hang over my head. And I feel like the last, and I mean, I'm a Harry Potter fan. So I feel like for me, the last like Horcrux that was like hanging over like Jason, when people were still pulling strings was my son.
Yeah.
And that's where this year I decided to like draw the line. And I was like, we're not going to use my son as collateral in any kind of way to try to control or manipulate me in any kind of way. And so this past June,
Hold on.
uh,
Before you
my,
go
go
on.
for it.
Before you go on.
Yeah.
See, now I gotta, it's not just for the viewer, it's for you too.
Yeah.
And women are never comfortable losing a man. So losing a man to another man makes them do all kinds of things,
Yeah.
including plant seeds of discord
Yeah.
in your son.
Correct.
It's unfortunate, but people don't acknowledge this enough. We say that men are highly competitive, but women are highly competitive. Women are territorial. What's mine is mine. And anytime I lose what's mine, women have more of a visceral, emotional reaction, hateful reaction than men do. And the reason why I keep stopping you is because I understand how much you lost.
Yeah.
Because people do not get it. And it's sad because this happens in the Black community.
So much.
It's the Black community. We are guilty of this, which is why I exist. Because it's like, first of all, I want to commend you for getting to a place where you finally felt like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can be myself. I can, and not just be myself, because you were always yourself, but I can declare this to the people around me, to the people that I hold nearest and dearest. Only problem with that is now you're no longer the buddy they could confide in.
Yeah.
You're no longer the head of the household. Yeah. And that is unfortunate because you still are. I don't know why they don't think, like, and it's so crazy because a part of my aesthetic is, I started off as a model at 19. I'm beautiful. They wanted me to, model the women's clothing in Paris. But if you know me, you then know how much of a man I am, because I handle my responsibilities. I run my business. I'm there for everyone that needs me, including my family, the ones that I have relationships with. I don't drop balls. If there is something that needs to be handled, I stand flat-footed and I face it. That's a man, because I take and I adhere to my responsibilities. That's the only thing. That's a man. It has nothing to do with the genitalia. It has nothing to do with the body. If I'm a man, I handle my responsibilities. I see about those that I say that I love. That's a man.
Absolutely. And I come from a very religious background. So I come from a Christian Pentecostal background. My family is huge in the church world. And so for me, this is like a no-no. You know what I mean? And that's a whole nother, dynamic and another layer to add to the ridicule and the other things that come along with it. And I think that, one of the things that I did was I allowed the people close to me, my mom and different things like that, to really just feel. I wanted them to just feel. So I let people ask crazy questions and, be upset and be angry. And once I allowed everybody to have their own view and opinion, I said, okay, so now that you've gotten that out, you've had your moment to have a feeling, you know what I mean? Let me explain to you who I am, why I am the way that I am, why I'm not changing it, and now I'm creating boundaries. And one of the things that I had to do to rebuild the respect for who I am was to kind of like disappear from some people.
Mhm.
I had to pull back, not out of fear or anything like that, but it was more so of a point where let me just disappear and take me completely out the picture. Because I have a lot of personality with my friends and my family. I'm super funny. I'm crazy. I'm a life of the party. I'm an Aries. I'm a fire sign all day long. I'm from New York City. So I come with a whole lot of theatrics. So I'm just like, let me just disappear from events. Let me stop coming to things and let's just see what that's like. And a lot of people kind of just said like, wow, like, we would rather have a relationship with you than not have a relationship with you because of this one thing. And one of the things that I always say for me, it wasn't a thing of like, it was just like, oh, I just like guys and this, that, and the third. I never fell in love with gender. I fell in love with how an individual treated me.
So in saying that, are you saying that you're more so polyamorous? You will go.
I don't even want to say.
Are you? I'm gonna ask the question, Jason.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ask the question because this is the thing. Like, and I want to tell you something too. You're making me work today. I've done 200 interviews and I have not to this point had to work, but I commend you because this is the point. This is the point so they can see this. So here's the question, Jason. Are you gay?
Yes, I have a partner. And yes, that would make me a gay male. Absolutely 100%.
How do you know?
I am with a male. I am with a
You're
male.
with a man, but just because you're with a man, get this. People need to understand something. Just because you have a relationship with a man doesn't mean you're going to be with men all your life.
Right. Everyone says that. And I've gotten that a lot too. And then I've gotten people who are like, no, he's never going to go back. He's never going to go back. He's not going to do that. I get it. People have said that to me like 1,000,001 times.
I want to know how you know you're gay. I want to know how you know.
What I can say for me right now in this very moment is that I've definitely discussed marriage with my partner. We've discussed a future together, and that's the direction that I'm definitely heading.
So now, in that direction,
yes,
you have gay friends now, right?
Absolutely.
Do you have a lot of gay friends?
I have an amazing amount of gay friends. You know what I'm saying? My
circle is
small, but some really good gay friends.
Okay, so now, for what you lost, you've rebuilt.
I had to build a new family.
Chosen family, sweetie. It's called chosen family.
I don't want my family, if anyone comes across as my family, don't be offended. I love my family. I don't mean like that.
Oh, they're going to come across it.
I know. But what I'm saying is that, the dynamics change, okay? When you say, hey, I'm gay, I'm lesbian, I'm this, I'm that, especially in our Black, families. Like, I mean, dynamics change. People still love you, but it's still always going to be that little like thing in the back, like, oh, I wish you were straight kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying? So the reality is I had to build a family of people around me to give me the strength and the sort of a love that I was losing in the interim of my transitioning over to being who I am now. So I had to create my own family. I really did. And I have a lot of people to thank for that, coming along this side along the way. You know what I mean? So I'm really grateful for the gay friends that I do have because they've definitely helped me to, oh my God, like, hold my head up when I didn't know like how I was going to get through this.
Did you, Jason, did you see a therapist?
You know what? I didn't. And that's the one thing that I do regret.
But do you know what's so crazy? Jason, the last time we had a conversation, I asked you the same question.
Yep, you did.
And that was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
It was, because I was talking to you about it and I was like, you know what? I think I should see a therapist.
I am still going to say see a therapist because, I've had 16 years of therapy and this is what I want you to understand the vulnerability and the ability to just let go and talk therapy. Like, see the problem with my people, our people, is they care too much about appearances. They care too much about camaraderie. It's this thing.
Yeah.
If you're gay, you're no longer with me. You no longer share the same ideals. You no longer share, I've seen this done because, I've had in my life, I've had beautiful men. So, turn around and their friends are like, oh, you're no longer the man we knew. And he's like, I can still out sprint your ass down this track. I can still catch every football you throw at me. I can block every shot to this basketball net or hoop that you could ever put. What do you mean I'm not the same person? And you know what the problem is? Because I can tell you what the problem is with your ex and the son. Quote unquote, I don't want it to rub off on my son. I don't want it
And
to
let
rub
me
off.
say this.
Mhm,
Let me say this.
mhm,
I'm gonna be
mhm,
honest with you, and this could
mhm,
rub people how they want to run it. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. I'm
mhm.
gonna be honest. Part of my reasoning too, when I kind of had the green light to be like, you can have a conversation with him about it. I even had my own reservations for like a little over a year where I was like, I have the green light to have a conversation with him, but I held back
Mhm.
because I honestly felt that way myself because I knew what I went through and I know how much this comes with. And I know I'll take somebody head off for my child. And I know how I move. And I was just like, how do I have this conversation confidently? You know what I mean? And I think that I was trying to find this perfect time, and it was never a perfect time. It was never a perfect time. Me and my sister, we are like this, super close. My sister, I love her so much. And she was like, it's never gonna be a perfect time. And all my close friends like, it's never gonna be a perfect time.
Do
I
you
think
love your son? Do you love your son?
that is my, let me tell you, we are like,
Jason, Jason,
it's my boy.
Jason, Jason, you are his father.
Yeah.
Just tell him.
And guess what? You'll be proud of me because I told him.
Because this is the thing.
Yeah.
Listen, there are more gay kids alive now than there've ever been in life. He already, in middle school and even in elementary school, he encountered them.
Yeah. You're right.
Get this, he probably knows more about being gay than you do.
Right. Yeah.
And get it. It's because these kids, listen, with
That's,
Legendary being on TV, Pose being on TV, P Valley being on TV, movies like B Blues and Moonlight, you don't think these kids went and found them and watched them with their buddies?
yep,
These kids are doing their own reconnaissance. They are doing the research.
they are.
They are doing the research that their parents and adults around them won't do.
Absolutely.
Give your son more credit.
You know what? Oh my God, I wish I could think of who said that to me. Somebody actually said that to me. And I sat down with him every Father's Day. We go out together. That's like our thing. We go out Father's Day. He asked me for like sneakers or something, and I go get him something. We go eat. We go have dessert. We hang out for a couple hours. So this Father's Day, it was like the weekend right before like Pride. So it was rainbows every fucking
I understand. This is my show. You can cuss every fucking word.
Okay. So we were out and we were eating, and I was just like, let me just, because like I said, it's bigger than me. It's about a full community. I was like, I said, this is Pride Month. I'm like, do you know what Pride is? And he's like, yeah, I kind of know what that is. So I'm like, well, what is? I'm like, you see rainbows everywhere. Like, what does that mean to you? He's like, oh no, it's about like gay people. I'm like, do you know what gay people is? He's like, Dad, come on, yeah, people who like the same gender. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, so how would you feel if somebody in your family was gay? And he's like, you don't turn your back on family. And I was like, wow. And I was like, that's really nice. I said, how would you feel if I told you I was gay?
They said, I'm about to mess you up.
No, listen.
You see me fixing my hair because I'm about to go in. I'm about to go
So
in.
I said to him, I said, so how would you feel like if I was gay? And he was like, you're my dad. Like, nothing's going to change.
Jason.
And that was such a great moment. And I was just like, wow. So fast forward to 4th of July, there was a situation in my family that happened surrounding me telling him, like flat out.
They were angry.
Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff went a little haywire. And
how did they find out that he knew?
Well, once I had a conversation with him on 4th of July, I called him and I FaceTimed him because I was working that day. And I said, remember our last conversation? He's like, yeah. So I was like, I want to tell you something. And, I know you probably know, but I'd rather you hear it directly from me than hearing probably all the things you've heard around the situation. And so I really was just, I took, ownership, and I was like, I am dating someone, it is a guy, I'm gay at this, point in my life. And I never wanted to, make you love me less or feel like I don't know this guy anymore. Like, this is not the dad that I know. And, he sat on the phone and, he cried. And I was like, why are you crying? I'm like, how you feel? Like, tell me how you feel. Be honest. I'm like, don't worry about my feelings. Like, at this point, my skin is tough for everything. Like, I didn't been through it all in the last 7 years. So he's like, I'm crying because I feel happy for you. And I feel like we can be closer now that I know. And I feel like that was the thing that was keeping me and you apart. And I had to keep it together because I was at work, so I couldn't, show no type of emotion. But I remember getting off that phone call feeling like I have the best son in the world.
Jason, you don't think his angry mother mentioned that you were gay to him before you could have?
You know what? I give her a lot of credit. I don't want to believe that.
Jason,
but
is she mad with you? Why is she mad with you? You don't think she said somewhere talking to her girlfriends, and this faggot father want to do this, that. Jason, your son knew, but he was waiting for you to come to him and tell him.
Let me tell you what the problem is. I hate that would possibly be the way he found out.
But listen.
Queen, I don't move like that.
Look at this. Listen. It's not about how he found out. It's about the point that he knows.
Yeah.
Get this. My grandmother, Queen Mother, she said something to me, and so did my boyfriend on 2 separate occasions. Sometimes this hole opens up in me.
Yeah.
And I try my best to close it and to fill it. But this hole, it's a small hole because I've worked on it in therapy. But I sometimes, and then I remember who the fuck I am. But anyway, I sometimes have a problem with the way that things look because they didn't per se go the way I envisioned them for my life. Yeah. What I wanted to do, the blueprint that I set forward, they don't look that way. And I'm gonna tell you something my boyfriend said to me. He's my first boyfriend. I've known him 20 years. He's loved me 20 years. I met him 20 years ago. And he said this to me. He said, sweetheart, you're still a doctor. You're just upset that you're not in the white coat walking corridors, helping animals and patients. He said, sweetie, look, check your purpose in life. He said, and don't discount homeschooling. I've been in this business for 20 years. But he said to me, you help people each and every day on a spiritual level where they are able to heal. You are still a doctor. You are still a physician. And it hit me. My grandmother said the same thing. She said, you wish that you could have done everything yourself. And that stems from being a child and being drug around and from past to this family member and to that family member. So it was like, whenever I get a chance to be on my own, I'm gonna do it my fucking self. Right. And then I had to have help and I didn't like that. But the point of the matter is how I got here doesn't matter, Jason. Right. I'm here. Give your son more credit. And cultivate that relationship with your son, because let me tell you something. That's what matters.
Absolutely.
That's what matters. Let me tell you something. I come from a family where it was a problem. I was homeless at 19. They put me out, religious, Kojic. Look at this. They were all gay and lesbian, but they were born again.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. Yeah. I wasn't ready to be homeless. And a lot happened. But you know, I embraced who I was then. Yeah. They hated me not for being gay. They hated me for having the courage to be myself. And I've been playing that game since I was 19 years old. I don't care what they say. Oh, he's full of himself. I heard that recently. I did a video about that yesterday. Sweetheart, who am I supposed to be for love? You. Oh, he's selfish. Do you know only people that desire to use you call you selfish? Because they're angry that they can't take from you.
Right.
They want your time, your energy, your talent, your resources. What I am trying to impart to you right now is that some of your family may never come around. And you have to be okay with that. You have to understand that. And that's going to hurt. But what you have to understand even more than that, because even some of the things you're saying to me, they still reside in heterosexuality. They do. You're learning.
Right.
It takes a lifetime to learn this lifestyle because it's not really a lifestyle. It's a way, it's a state of being. You know, everybody wants to say, oh, it's a lifestyle. No, it really is. You just are.
Right.
And now you have to navigate the throes of what you want, when you want it, how you want it. And there are always going to be people, employers. There are always going to be people you can't disclose to. But this is why I said to you 4 years ago, see a therapist, because a therapist would have told you what I'm about to tell you. In that room, you can be completely candid.
Correct.
You can say anything and everything that you want. Outside of that room, you don't have to voice anything to no fucking body. And I think if you realize that, you'd hurt less and you'd understand how much your son loves you. Let me tell you something. You told the most important person in your life.
Yeah.
You're through talking about it.
And guess what? That was the game changer. Even though that happened a couple weeks ago, that was the game changer. Because I'm already like so comfortable like with who I am and my skin and stuff like that. Like I'm already good. But I think that he was just like the seal the deal for me. You know what I mean? And to be open to be like, you know, hey, I want to meet your partner and all that good stuff. And like, like, I like him. He's real cool. Like, you know, for me, I can give a shit about anybody else at this point. Like anybody else was still going back and forth, not sure. I could care less. You know, my son, from me, like game over. Like I can really live my true best life at this point. That's how I feel, you know? So it's just dope to really, you know, have him to be able to be so mature. You know what I mean? If I could just take an ounce of him and give it to the rest of the world, like that would just be incredible. Because I mean, for someone to be 13 years old, to be able to grasp something like that and be such an adult about it, and it was mind-blowing. And that was really mind-blowing for me, honestly. I didn't expect it to go in the direction that it did. Because I'm sure there were so many people who wanted the opposite.
But this is the thing. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Never, ever is your son gonna ever turn his back on his daddy. Do you know how many men wish they could even have a relationship, a conversation with their fathers? Luther Vandross talked about dancing with his father again. Do you know how many Black men yearn for their fathers?
Very true.
What I need you to understand is, well, you do understand this, but what I need people to understand that are watching this, because heterosexual people watch me, they are enamored with me. I am me, and I am me all the time. We don't need their approval. We don't need their handouts. We don't need their acceptance. They can keep all of that. We don't need their God, because the God that made us to be who we are. And he's the God of love over everything we could ever see, think, feel, or believe.
Yeah.
What I notice about people is they take portions of God. And I don't understand how they can use those portions. You know where I'm going with this.
Oh, I do know where you're going with it.
To destroy and destroy and destroy and destroy, simply because they seek to control the vessel. When I was younger, I was bullied in church, bullied by grown men. It was a problem. I left that church. Do you know my pastor follows me? My pastor likes my videos. And I'm talking about an old Kojic pastor. So her name is Evangelist Maria Gardner Langston. She's an icon in the Kojic church. Follows me.
See, we come from the same. I know all about that.
Exactly.
I know all about that.
But the point is why? Because when you present the truth, no one can refute it. When you just authentically say, God, I'm yours, I reach more people than they do in church, and I get paid a lot more to do it.
That part.
I am changing lives. And now your story coming out here, you are no longer just a normal man walking down the street. People going to see you and be like, oh my God, your story was so amazing. I thank you. I thank you for the bits and pieces that you chose to share. I love how, as a Black father, you worried about how your son would receive you, and then were pleasantly surprised that your son had no qualm at all. So that should tell you something. You should believe that God is real, because even with all that he heard, the God of love didn't harden his heart toward you. Lord have mercy. I'm going to send you an invoice.
I told you this was going to be.
I'm going to send you an invoice. I'm going to send you Jesus. Like, I'm going to say, so let's flip the script here.
Yeah.
How did you meet your partner? And how did you get towards, like, tell me about your relationship with your partner and how it moved towards matrimony.
Oh my gosh. It's you know what, it's really funny. How we met. I'm gonna tell a long, quick story.
You can tell it, honey. We've got time. This is my show.
We met. It's so funny, right? I had somebody who I was kind of talking to at the time. I was single, so I was like, dating or whatever. And this person had invited me to come meet him at like a party and said I'm with two other friends. One of those friends happened to be who is my partner now. When I had went there, it seemed more like they kind of had something like going on to kind of getting to know each other in a way. So I was like, this is odd. This is weird. Him and I spoke because we knew each other like through mutual people and social media. I said hello. He said hello. He was a little shady the night that I met him. I ended up leaving. I called the Uber and I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I thought I was here with this one and this seems like something else. I literally called the Uber and I was out because I was just like, I'm not dealing with this bullshit. And I was like, I'm out. And so I left. And then like 6 months later, we kind of like reconnected. He had a birthday party, invited me out. I went to the birthday party and we've been like, ever since. It just stayed the same.
What was it about him that drew you?
You know what? And I could say, I think for both of us, honestly, I felt like it was like he wasn't looking, I wasn't looking. I just exited a relationship and he did too. And both of our relationships were really, really intense that we just kind of like exited. And, like I said, I think that the best relationships comes when you don't look. Just don't look.
I agree.
And that's kind of like where it was. And, prior to meeting him, I was single for like a whole entire year. And that was like new for me because I don't do the single thing. I do better with relationships. And then also, I guess for me, seeing everybody in my family be married and coming from like the church world, like you got to get married, you got to be married. So that's always like my thing. Like you need to be in a relationship or you need to be married or you need to be like, I just come from that. You know what I mean? So I've never been the person to do single really well. I don't know how to do that too well. But I took time, I think before him, I felt like something in me saying like, you need to be alone. Okay. You need to be alone.
I don't have to wreck your face. I don't have to wreck your face then.
Yeah. It said to me, be alone. Cause it was like, even after like, my divorce, it was like a relationship. And it was like, no, you need time. To now really understand like what is it that you're looking for, even if you don't know what you're looking for, know what you don't want. And I needed time, and
I have a question for you because I think the world will benefit from this question. You were married to your son's mother for 11 years.
Yeah, almost.
Was the I'm gonna ask it because I usually don't, but
I know where you probably gonna go. Go ahead.
yeah, because this conversation, honey, it dropped in my lap, and I'm gonna do
I
my
can't
job.
take you. I
I'm
think
gonna do my job. I'm gonna do my job. So you were married to your son's mother for 11 years. You were used to pussy, basically.
Oh God, I knew you was going here. Somebody else asked the same
Bruh.
thing. One of my
I want to know.
I'm not about to play with you.
Was that change terrifying? Because get this, the reason why I ask you is not really for you. I got a lot of heterosexual men that watch me, and I got a lot of questioning men that watch.
I know you do. I know you do.
So I want to know, did that scare you having to be like
100%.
it did?
100%. Absolutely 100%.
How did you work that out? Because
you know what? Oh God,
because I've been gay all my life, and I still can't work it out.
Listen, that was very like it was honestly terrifying.
Isn't that terrifying? It is terrifying.
It was
You
almost
have
like
to do what?
I was like, I don't know, like this is.
He said, I don't know.
I don't really know. Like
He said, I don't really know.
Let's just kiss.
But wait, listen, I'm gonna tell you the reason why I brought that up. And we don't have to stay there. We don't see. I brought it up, but we don't really have to talk about you exclusively. We're going to talk about our community. See, people don't understand. Like I have a group of friends where, like, I get this. On June the 30th, I got with my boyfriend. We had been friends and loved each other for 20 years, but it was like I had been celibate for 10 years. On August the 9th, coming up, my celibacy will reach 10 years. I won't see my boyfriend until my birthday, which is in September, the end of September. So I will have, being a man, completed what I started, Yeah. And we are still trying to, because I'm like, I'm not taking that. I'm 40. I'll be 40 in September. Let them 23-year-olds worry about that. We're going to kiss and we're going to grind.
Listen, and this is your big birthday.
It is. It's my 40th, but I'm like, but the thing is, I'm a blouse. It took me a long time to get there. I started my sexual career bottoming because men were telling me, "Oh, you're effeminate. This is what you should do." I hated it. I hated it, but get it. I hated it, but I did it 8 years.
But that's some bullshit too. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about inside our community, the labeling.
Yeah.
The labeling.
But it's not the label. That's not really the label, though. That's not the label. That's the responsibility and the role. That's different. The label is
but they can't.
It's not the label. It's the responsibility of the role.
We've all seen you like this, and we've seen you entirely other way. You know what I'm saying?
But I do that. I do that to show depth and character and longevity. And it's so what I'm saying is I have other friends that have said to me, "Honey, we don't do that. We don't do that." Now, me being a blouse, I'm a feminine top.
You know what? I just heard that saying for the first time like 8 months ago, and I had no clue what that was. Like,
I'm a feminine top, sweetie.
It cracks me up, but I love it.
but get this. The man that I love, my boyfriend is a top. So my thing is, it's so crazy because I love our relationship because it is a masterful dance. We both love to look at porn and watch somebody get done. But we accept that that's not going to happen in our relationship. So it forces us to connect over other things, not so much sex. And we've done that. And we are big foreplay people. I'm very oral. He always laughs at me because he always says to me, "You have an oral fixation." And I'm like, "So do you." So do you. For me, being in the community so early, I was traumatized sexually by Black men. I was traumatized. I wasn't used to men using you, taking everything that was precious from you and moving on to the next after they did so. I wasn't used to men rearranging all of your organs and then being like, oh, that's it. And yeah, that's it. That's just what I wanted to do. Another notch on the bed. And my thing was, before my 10 years of celibacy, I had my revenge. Mhm. I had my revenge. I slept with 85 men. I had my revenge. I climbed on a lot of backs. But when I did, I wanted to be what I wanted to see in the world. I was very compassionate. I was very understanding. I took my time because I knew what it was like to be on that end. And sometimes I encounter very misogynistic gays and I don't understand how, because I'm like, boy, whether you have muscles or I'm in a dress, it don't matter, because if this country has it the way that they want it, whether you look like a man and I look like a woman, they shooting us both in the back of the head. Mm-hmm. They're not going to care that you look like a man. So I'm standing here fighting next to you for the same rights you want. And they're not going to care. All faggots are faggots to them. I don't understand why people don't get that. But in our community, here we go, our community, men think because they're masculine presenting that they're somehow superior.
And that's bullshit.
But get this, then it takes somebody like me to revolutionize the world. It takes someone like me to bring in love and compassion for all. Right. And then they say, oh, Queen, thank you so much. I was suicidal. I don't feel that way anymore. And you helped me to go on. But behind my back, you were, oh, that's a bitch. He wants to be a bitch. First of all, my name is Miss Bitch. Secondly, Black women have always been powerful creatures, and they've always had to deal with no good men. I stay close to Black women because we have the same issue: a man not telling the truth. I am determined not to out anyone, but I am determined to live in my truth and be as authentic as I possibly can, which means divulge. Yeah. If I meet somebody, we're about to go there, divulge. Yeah. I don't do the sneaky link. I don't do that. And get this, my boyfriend and I, we're polyamorous. We're polyamorous. I don't do the sneaky link. Conversations. Yeah, go ahead.
What I love about you and your boyfriend is that you both found something that works for you.
Yep.
You created the own rules for your relationship.
Yep.
And I think that's just so key. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the things for me that I'm still learning is that, I'm still trying to break what I know as tradition, because you got to create something that is, special and, exclusive for your relationship that works for you. You know what I mean? Like everything that works for everybody else may not work for your situation. So you got to figure out what works for you and just go there. And I love that you guys both have found like a lane that works for the both of you. That's like so dope.
And it's not without problems.
Yeah.
He and I are there. We're in the relationship. Yeah. We're willing to confront every single problem that quote unquote is a problem. And I want to tell you something, love is better over 40. I just want to tell everybody, love is better. When I tell you we don't have them chicken head problems in 20s and 30s, we don't have that, because being men of a particular age, we know what we want.
Absolutely. I turned 40 last year. Mm-hmm. And so I know exactly where you are with that. I mean, I had a meltdown. I don't know how are you approaching 40? Like I had a crisis, a complete.
I can't wait to be 80.
I love that.
Do you understand? I couldn't wait to be this age. I wanted to run through my 20s, my teens, my 20s, my 30s, because when I got here, it meant, oh, this bitch is qualified to give us wisdom. Yeah. She knows some things now. Because see, everybody before, especially in in the entertainment industry, I was speaking like this when I was younger. I was very much a shaman. Oh, you're too young. Oh, we can't take you serious. You got to live a little bit more. You need more lived experience. Well, honey, now I got it. You can't deny me now. What's your excuse? I know what the fuck I'm talking about. So for me, turning 40 just adds icing to the cake, because people still are like, oh my God, you're 40 years old. Yes. Who did you and how did you think I was giving you this kind of earth-shattering, life-changing wisdom from a 20-year-old? What book can you read? I'm sorry. What book can you read where you can even come close to the wisdom that I expound upon? There is none. You have to live this thing.
You really do.
You really do. And God, although I knew early, but God took me to Paris, made me go to the park, sat me down on a bench and said at 22, you are gay. And I had an entire meltdown at 22. And I said to God, what am I going to do? He said, we'll deal with it. And I talk to the divine every day to do all of my work. Speaking now, we've never had a conversation about that ever again in life. And I turned 40 in September. There was no need. Know who you are. Get it? Got it? Good. Now go change the world. Go focus on something else. I feel that the world focuses on sexuality way too much.
Too much.
Way too much. I feel that if they don't see you in a sexual situation, if they literally look at you, if they can't have sex with you, they don't even want to talk to you or meet you. They don't want to know you. They don't want to know you. It's gotten that bad out here.
It's so ridiculous, you know? It's crazy. And I mean, I think that for me now, I mean, I feel like, you know, since I've gotten like the biggest thing out the way, like I feel like now, like I'm really ready to live. I'm really ready to do my thing. You know what I mean? I turned 41 this past April. I'm good now. I'm past the crisis. And I just feel like, no, now it's time for me to live. I'm over, like you said, I'm over the conversation of sexuality and when did you know and when, listen, if you know, you know, if you don't, you don't. Like I'm past that now. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you something else that dropped off of me turning 40. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me. No. I've been saying that for years and I still did.
You don't understand. My I don't give a fuck is so strong now more than it ever was.
What? When I tell you, from the inside, I can look you in your face and say, oh, too bad. I'm gone. Because see, I'm the light that came in this room. And when I leave, my light leaves with me. Have a good day.
Absolutely. See, people
I
don't get
don't need people to get me. I don't need people to understand me. I don't need, no.
At all.
No.
I tell people all the time, you know, in 9 more years, I'll be 50. At 50, I live basically half my life. I'm not wasting no more time on a lot of shit that just doesn't matter.
In November, my boyfriend will be 46. I truly, and it's so funny because the divine is so smart because I needed that. I like older men. I've always liked older men. He's not that much older than me, but I've always liked him. He is he's a reverend. He's a reverend with a degree in psychology and he's studying theological studies now. This man is a pillar in his community in New York.
Wow.
Let me tell you something. This man, I was talking to him the other day, he's setting up LLCs and all of this stuff. We've got shit between us.
That's incredible.
Like, yes, like that makes for a better life. Somebody asked like, oh, are you in a long distance relationship? I'm in Philadelphia, he's in New York. And I said to them, I said, well, not really. I said,
down the block.
Get it. And get this, but look how I answered this. I said, not really, but you have to understand something. I got companies and so do he. We can just take off and go frolic and have fun. We have large networks. We have a bunch of adopted children. We have tons of mentees.
Correct.
We work for a living. And yet and still we find the time to be with each other.
And that's amazing. And when it comes time to be in one
Mm-hmm.
space together, that happens. So like you said,
oh yeah.
So much going on.
We already listen. We already talking marriage. We already talking marriage. When you're like Wendy Williams used to say, when you are a man or a woman of a particular age,
you don't need to wait.
You know, long courtships. Long courtships. I've known this man 20 years. No. We're gonna do it. We're just gonna let these businesses continue to boom, grow, put some money away, and then do it.
Yeah.
If it were up to me, I'd marry him at the courthouse. If it were up to me. But I feel like after 20 years, it deserves a big hullabaloo.
I was getting ready to say that.
It deserves it. Yeah, it deserves it. It deserves the waltz. It deserves, the food. He's vegan. It deserves all of that. It deserves the reception.
No, you can't. No.
Yeah, I can't do that to him. It deserves. This will be his first marriage, my first marriage, and our last.
No courthouse. I would be very upset if you did.
No, I'm not going to do that to him. I would. Like, that's how. But get it. This deserves celebration.
It does.
It deserves celebration.
It does.
What?
That's
I never thought I'd find someone for me, and loved him the whole time. I never thought I'd find someone for me. And I said, listen, I work. I'll just be the bitch that pays the escorts. That's fine. That was me. That was always me. I keep them close. And then boom. One night I'm talking to him and he always has this thing. He always says that his spidey sense and his mask doesn't work as well as he needs it to. But I have a whole bunch of gifts. The night I told him, we were sitting there and I'm just like, and he's like, what's wrong? Because we can read each other.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's like, what's wrong? Just say it, DJ, what's wrong? And I'm just like, I don't want another man to touch me ever again in life if it's not you.
Wow.
He started crying. We both did. It was the admission of love. Do you know how many people, listen, do you know how many people are afraid to love? And if you're afraid to love, you've got bigger problems than worrying about whether you're gay or straight. You can figure that out later. If you're afraid to love, because when you're afraid to love, that means you don't trust either. You got bigger problems. You got, what they say, Molly, you in danger, girl.
Yep.
You got bigger problems that you need to.
Because it affects all your relationships when you're like that. It affects
Everything. Relationships with children, relationships with mothers and fathers, relationships with coworkers. It affects everything. For a couple of years, it was cute to, have the little meme saying, I trust no bitch. That was cute.
Right.
But after that, you should have went somewhere and saw a shrink and got that shit together. Yeah. Because you can't go throughout your life not trusting people. Because if you don't trust people, you don't trust yourself. And that's a problem. You'll never be authentically who you're supposed to be because trust is an issue. And you can't say, oh, well, I trust myself. I just don't trust other people. No, you don't trust you to make the right decisions about trusting other people.
Correct.
Like my celibacy, the 10 years I spent getting to know myself. I set myself down. We know this term from church. I set myself down. Yeah. Set myself down. Yeah. 10 years, I set my ass down. I said, oh, no. We need to get this together. And I'm so glad that I did because my whole life and career and love, everything just started coming to me at once. I'm being crowned with so many gifts going into my 40th year that it's like, finally, like, it's just like everything I've ever wanted. And then sometimes I stop myself and I go, is something going to go wrong?
Right.
And then myself says to me, not really, because this is not a feeling. You worked at this. You put in all the work. The foundations are there. The planks are in place. The boards are in place. This is built. It's not going to fall. It's not going to fall. And that's the difference in how I feel with everybody else. I built it. I stopped partying, clubbing, doing all of that stuff, set my ass down and fixed me. with help, but fixed me because I realized something. In the state that I was before, I was no good for the man of my dreams, and I was no good for me. I needed an entire reprogramming, as do most Black men out here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna leave that alone. The Black man, the Black man, the Black man.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other conversation.
You see me, I got quiet because I'm trying to leave it alone. I'm trying to leave it alone. I just, really, y'all, you trying to impress them? You're suppressing you so you can impress them? Really? You're going to play their game instead of learning how to have your own businesses, careers? You going to roll over for them? And them could be a whole lot of things. It's funny because all I have around me are masculine presenting men gleaning from the words of my mouth. They want to learn because they value that. Takes a lot of courage for you to show us how you are. My boyfriend, masculine presenting, child. That's all I attract. That's all I attract. My whole life, masculine presenting. Problem was they didn't understand who they were and they wanted to take it out on me. Well,
Right.
that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen anymore because my boyfriend always tells me, leave your knives at home, baby. I'm like, the knife, it's just, I just got knives right now so I can get guns because I'm not going to ask no questions. You're not about to upset what I spent my entire life to build just because you don't understand why I look better than most people. And I'm not saying women, most people in a wig. You don't understand why I would count it an honor and a pleasure to be likened to a Black woman, because the only people that have ever really helped me in my life have been Black women. Men, Black men, French men, they all wanted something from me, and it wasn't a hug. People get tired of that. How many miles you gonna put on yourself? I'm trying to live to be 80. I can't play that way.
That's right.
I can't do that. I put miles on myself in one summer and set that shit down for 10 years. Hit the reset.
That's it.
Like, no, I don't. And the crazy thing is, I don't ever want to go back to that summer. That was the emptiest time I've ever had in my life. I was wearing that nostalgia.
That's a very empty time, honestly.
Yes.
Very empty time. You feel like it's filling the void, and it doesn't.
And that's the thing. I was looking for something. The people were, get it. I met some amazing men. The people were great. The men were great. The problem was me. I was the problem. I could have probably made it work with any of them because they were very, very eager.
Right.
But the problem was me.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel the problem is with Black men. Black man, the problem is you. And unfortunately, when they turn 40, then they'll stop caring that their girlfriend is trans. And then they'll start loving her the way that they should. But this is the question. Will she stick around? Because you're about to lose the best thing you ever had in your life. And somebody else who loves her is going to come along and you're going to be without.
Yeah.
And realize you lost the love of your life because she's trans. Who cares? There are so many. Okay. It's too many issues. There's too many issues.
I told you to go some places.
Lord, I'm sending you an invoice.
Let me get my checkbook.
Cash at me, honey. Cash at me, dog. I don't take checks. Checks bounce. I need cash at.
Let me get my cash app ready. I told you.
It's crazy. But you know what? It was an honor to talk to you because I knew. Get this. I'm a Libra. You're an Aries. We're the antithesis of each other. So when they say fight fire with fire, we will do this all day long. And live for it and love for it. You know, so I knew that the conversation was going to go different places, but I'm pleased with where it went.
Absolutely.
I'm pleased with where it went.
Absolutely.
Now,
I wouldn't talk like this to anybody on any platform, honestly, but you.
You know, and I'm honored for that, because here we had what you call it, kitchen table talk.
Table talk.
Like Wendy say, this is kitchen
This
table.
is really kitchen table.
Yeah, this was kitchen table. Forget it. It makes for great reviews.
Absolutely.
Oh, please, when people watch it, oh, you told the queen that. Oh, you talked about that. Yeah, we went a lot of places.
Yeah.
Because we had to.
Yeah,
because both of us live lives that are very cerebral. We think, we think, and we have intention behind everything that we do. We also shoot very quickly, and we're used to hitting our marks. So it had to be what it had to be. And I have no regrets. Now, my question for you is, when do you see your son next?
When do I see him next? Actually, we are getting together next week. I actually spoke to him early today, actually, while I was getting ready for you. I spoke to him earlier.
I have a question. This is an off-kilter question. He's 13 going on 14. Yes. When do you think or has he already told you that he wants to come live with you?
You know what? I think that will probably come very soon.
It's coming.
Sometime soon. I feel like he would want to live with me.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, me and him enjoy a lot of the same things. So, mm-hmm. I mean, you know, I'm sure he's now going to probably feel like, I think I want to live with my dad, or I should go stay with my dad. I mean, I'm open. You know what I mean? I'm open to it. You know what I mean? Like I said, it makes it easier now, you know, that he knows. I don't have to feel like I have to be so secretive about anything. You know what I mean? So it just makes the relationship a lot easier. So I'm like super excited about, you know, where me and him are going to continue to grow to, you know, as a father and a son. So I'm really happy about that.
Your son loves you, and he will always love you. And he's blessed to have his father. I didn't have mine. I didn't have my father or my mother. My mother was 17. My father was 28. The time I was born. The only thing they gave me was their mental illness, because mental illness is hereditary. That's the only contribution to my life, other than the gift of life. It is what it is. But it also allows me to see both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
Because I know what it's like. Even with that, you know, they say children that don't have their mothers and fathers, they have a void in them. Not me anymore. And that's the wonderful thing about being 40. I realize I'm full of me now. Oh, he's so full of himself. Yeah, I'm full of me and nobody else. Nobody else's thoughts, nobody else's ideals, nobody else's contradictions, nobody else's plans for my life, nobody else's intentions, nothing. This is all me. All me. Sorry, you had a crisis at 40.
Yeah, I had a crisis. I wasn't as strong. I couldn't take it. The gray hair, stuff on. I was like, oh no, hell no. Like, this is too much. But I got through it the best way that I could. You know what I mean? And I had help around me. So I had a lot of people cheering me on, my partner, close friends, you know, stuff like that. But it was a tough one. You know what I mean? When I turned 41, I got over it. I was just like, okay, I'm here. I'm in the 40 bracket. It's cool.
I'm a weirdo. My grandma get mad at me because I come down stroking her white hair. My boyfriend has grays in his beard. That's the thing I love about him. I am enamored with age, because it usually, not always, but usually it denotes wisdom.
Yeah.
I've been here. I can tell you a thing or two. I know where all the bones are buried, so that you don't have to struggle as a first generation Black person trying to come up by your bootstraps.
Right.
That's another thing that we Blacks are not accustomed to. The generation before us leaving us wealth. Now, there are some that have done it. Remember, we have those Ivy Leaguers, those Black people. But for most of us that started in humble beginnings.
Wish we had more of that.
But get this, we would, but they don't reach back to educate. They don't want anything to do with this side. Hence why I do what I do and market it on the internet. My boyfriend is a big believer and firm believer. He started his career working in child services when he was young, 19, 20. If we teach the narrative, if we teach the information, it allows for an opportunity to grow, to learn, to evolve, to change. I used to tell him, no, blacks are never gonna get it. But he's working on me. He's working on me because the thing is, he tells me, you do all of this work and you don't think these black people are gonna change? And I always say to him, well, more will stay the same than more will actually change.
Right.
But then he says to me, that's a personal problem. That's a choice. A choice doesn't mean they weren't presented with the right information to make the change. They chose to stay that way. Not your problem. A lot of us want out of humble beginnings. A lot of us want out of the rat race. But another thing is, honey, they don't want to pay for it. And I mean, I don't just mean monetarily. If this face looked like the lessons I have had, I would look 80 years old. I would. Because I've had, like my boyfriend said to me last night, the trial by fire. Been through a lot.
Yeah.
But that's what allows me to do what I do. That's why no one can be me. They can be them. They can give inspiration. They can give motivation, whatever. They can't plagiarize me. It's all protected and they can't be me. That's why I come with a different angle. That's why Hollywood is reaching out to me and saying, oh, please interview our people and do it on your show. We don't care how you do it. We want your narrative. We want your stamp. We don't want to tell you how to do it. You do it your way. It's happening all over the world. I talk to people all over the world.
No, you do. You interview so many like amazing people from.
And I'm going to keep on doing it. And I'm going to keep on doing it. I'm in a position where I can afford to do this. My overhead is covered. I can afford to do this to the day I die. So I'm going to do what I can do because, you know, the government said, oh, well, he'll never really be sane enough to work again. Okay, well, this isn't work then. This is my hobby. My hobby. I am so thankful that we had this conversation.
I'm very thankful as well.
It was an amazing opportunity to catch up with you.
Absolutely.
And to disagree with you, because I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna say it. I was with that pronoun thing. We wasn't about to have what we saw. What was that on Big Brother? We wasn't about to have that on the Queen of Shades platform. Okay, we weren't about to have that. Every pronoun matters. I'm closing with that.
But I get you with that though.
Okay.
With that.
Okay. Every pronoun matters.
We
Everyone.
get it. People just have to respect the pronoun that you choose to identify as.
Yeah.
So we get it though. We get it. So
give me.
I can only take it for you. Anybody else would have been like, I don't give a shit.
But you know what? That's your personality, though. That's your personality, though. That's your personality, though. But give me 3 words that inspire and empower you.
Wow, 3 words that power and inspire.
Inspire and empower.
Empower me.
Yep.
Wow. That inspire and empower. That's a really good question. 3 words.
You said you watched these interviews. You knew it was coming.
I would say one of those would be love.
Mm-hmm.
I think that love definitely, conquers all, and that's something that's very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So love would be one of them for me. Another word that I think is so important to me would be respect.
Mm-hmm.
Respect. I really I stand for it so strongly. I think respect is really good. And another one would be faith.
Mm-hmm.
When you have nothing else, if you can just have a little bit of faith, the size of a mustard seed, it'll move mountains. If you just have a little bit of hope, a little bit of belief, faith can do almost anything.
And I want to piggyback off of what you're saying with faith. Believe in yourself. Put the faith in you. Because out here, it doesn't serve a purpose. In here is where all the magic happens.
Yeah.
Tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
on social media, you could find me at I am Jason Harvey. That's JasonHarvey. Also, this fall, I have some music coming out. A lot of people don't know, but a lot of my close friends do. I've been in the studio recently, and it is not that easy.
No, it's not.
Lot of work, and I know you know because you have a nice catalog. But so I have that coming out. I do have a nice little sit down podcast that'll be out next month as well. So I'm really now in a position to really put myself out there, tell a little bit more about my story, and people with like minds who just really want to have a conversation. So it's going to be like pretty dope and really interesting. I'm excited about the music. That'll be up sometime around like October. So yeah, so you can find me at I am Jason Harvey. I'm more on Instagram. I don't really do a lot of other social media platforms. So that would be like my most, find me there. Anywhere else, like I really won't be on there.
I can't wait to hear the music.
I cannot wait for you to hear too. Nervous, but I can't wait.
I know it's going to be good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the vocal stylings of this creative and astounding artist, Mr. Jason Harvey. Say goodbye to the people, but don't go anywhere.
Thank you, everybody.
So did you enjoy? I hope you did. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and don't forget to cash at me at the Queen of Shade. I am your favorite content creator, right? Right. You want to see more of this content, right? Right. Cash at me. I love you. Mwah.
I've got my black stilettos on. Don't you make me take them off. I'm assuming first position. Gonna show you I'm a boss. I've been given 60 seconds just to put my thing down. I'll have you wanting my stilettos by the time I turn around. Turn that TV down.